Substance use, addiction, what do these things have to do with entities, parasitic attachments, and a consciousness that somehow just seems to seep into our field that we know is not our own? My name is Satara Faye. I'm ranked top 5 female psychic medium in the US. I have been a practicing professional psychic medium since 2012. I have been teaching people how to develop their psychic abilities since 2016. And if you ask me, I'm just getting started. So one of the things that I want to talk to you today, and this is part 3 in a series that I'm doing on these types of entities, but specifically today, I want to talk about substances and addiction, mostly focusing on the substances. So at this point in my life, I have been completely sober, meaning no substances since last December, which is almost a year. And that was a ceremonial mushroom ceremony that I sat in that ended horribly. And I'm going to tell you about it and why at this point. I used to be an advocate for psychedelics, and I used to they have done so much to help me on my journey. But what I've been experiencing in the field in the last couple of years, in the quantum field and the collective unconscious, is that we are being absolutely inundated with these parasitic beings and these parasitic attachments in a way that has actually been exceptionally debilitating on so many levels to so many people. And so let's just simply start with alcohol. We know that alcohol is called spirits for a reason. I have a video here that is called Drunk Spirituality. You can search it on YouTube, Drunk Spirituality, Samantha Faye. This was before I changed my name. And I will tell you on a very deep level what my experience was in drinking and what happened when I started becoming aware that these parasitic entities are actually a thing and that they can infiltrate our field through how much we drink and what substances we take when we're drinking. Because when you add combination, so alcohol is going to open your field and basically give these entities the key to your entire ecosystem, to your entire energetic auric field. Once that happens, they don't usually clear until you consciously clear them out of your system. So this is something that's very important to know, because sometimes we can be hosting an entity for years and think that it is a part of who we are. If you are imbibing in a substance that controls you, this is where the addiction comes in. Addiction is possession. The addiction is, you know you shouldn't be doing it. You don't even want to be doing it at a certain point, and yet you can't stop. And really what that is that there is an external consciousness that has hijacked a portion of your field and needs that substance to live and thrive within your ecosystem. So the reason that it is so important to clear and cleanse these entities out of your consciousness is so that you can have embodied sovereignty inside of your physical body. One soul, one body. One consciousness, one body. Unfortunately, what we are seeing in this world, and I want you to know that these types of attachments are far more common than we really even want to understand. And so that's why I'm so passionate about having this conversation with us right now, is because things just seem to continue to get weirder and weirder and weirder. And what I think is really important right now is to be able to have the information that we need to know how to empower ourselves to really deeply, truly embody sovereignty. So I have not had a drink in about almost 7 years, over 9 years total. I will say, with the exception, I had a taste of sake when I was at a Michelin star restaurant in Japan. And even then I was like, this was not a good idea. Because what happens now in my field is that my ecosystem has become purified, cleansed, cleared, that even a drop of alcohol or the substance really has an effect on me. Even tinctures. I will feel tinctures in a way that I'm like, this is not so much fun. Now, when it comes to weed, people think that weed is smooth. It's not as bad for you as alcohol. Well, yeah, in some ways it isn't, because oftentimes people lose motivation. They lose drive. They sleep more. They're just kind of less effective in life. And that's really the thing, is that weed is a plant. A plant is a consciousness. It is a plant medicine. So when we use it for our expansion, it can help. And there are a lot of medicinal qualities and benefits to it. But a lot of people in this world, as we've noticed, are lying to themselves around where the line of medicine is and where the line of addiction is. Because if there is something that you need to do on a daily, weekly, or even monthly basis, and you are not able to put it to the side, then what you are dealing with is an addiction. An addiction is basically a cover up so that you can cope with not actually addressing the root cause of something that is deeply affecting you emotionally. Now, I'm really excited to see that healing is trending. Are there dark sides and shadows to the New Age movement? Absolutely, 100%. And of course there is. As there are, as I like to say, as there are crooked doctors, and as there are crooked politicians, and as there are crooked police officers, there are also charlatans and spiritual narcissists in the New Age movement. Yes. What is important to address is that as healing is being trendy, what we're talking about in healing is actually standing in embodied sovereignty, is embodying the light of illumination that is within the core of your being, that is your monad. That's what this tattoo on my hand, somebody always asks, it means, is that this is the seed of life. This is the spark of divine consciousness that exists at the core of your soul. And so what we're talking about is activating that consciousness, that awareness into your conscious waking mind. This is connecting your heart. Your soul resides in your heart. And this is how, when I do my work of activating soul memories, we work with the consciousness of the heart. Getting back on track with the substances. So we talked about alcohol. We talked about weed. Pills, opiates, very similar. Unfortunately, with pills and opiates, you then are creating an attachment to the pharmaceutical industry. That's a whole can of worms that I can address in another video, but ultimately the parasitic entities that are feeding off of sick human beings through the healthcare industry is a very, very deep and daunting topic that most people, probably not you because you're here, is a conversation that most people don't want to have. But again, if you talk to mystics, you talk to psychics, you talk to shamans, we can see this very clearly. And some people that wouldn't even, host those titles, we can see it very clearly. And so what's important to acknowledge and address is that there is something very significant going on within the entire collective unconsciousness right now that is, I don't want to say a battle, but there is very clearly a spiritual war going on. You don't need me to tell you that. What this is over is you. It's over souls. The spiritual war is literally gaining life force, energy, and souls. And so the anecdote to this and how we are walking into the new earth consciousness is by embodying sovereignty. It is by embodying clarity. It is by choosing clarity. Some people can call it sobriety. I choose to call it clarity. Because when you are sober, your mind is clear. When you are sober, your heart is more easy to forgive and release. You have a courage that allows you to face the emotional baggage that you carry every single day when you numb and you cope. And there are other ways to numb and cope. And let's talk about methamphetamines. Methamphetamine is a extremely jagged frequency. This particular drug will rip and tear the auric field apart. If somebody did not have schizophrenia before and has meth-induced schizophrenia, that's what's happening, is that this particular drug dissociates the human soul, spirit, from the body in such an intense and jagged way that this person no longer has sovereignty over their own body. And if you talk to or speak with anybody that has done meth, there is this draw, this pull that is like relentless. This is the consciousness of the drug itself. Talking about heroin as well. Heroin is going to bring the soul into a very, very dark place. And unfortunately, when it comes to overdose in this way, it's very questionable as to where the soul goes in the next step of their journey when an overdose takes place. With that being said, again, I want to say everything is reconcilable. But in order to reconcile these circumstances or things that happen or can happen, we have to take ownership over our own free will. We have to take ownership over the choices that we make, whether somebody is embodying victim consciousness or martyrdom, numbness, unwillingness to face their own responsibility. They want to blame it on their parents or whatever it is. What we need to actually harness and hone in is the acceptance of the free will choices that each individual person is making that is co-creating the life experience that they are living. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I really believe that it is so important to address this and actually get to the root cause. Because when we talk about exorcisms, it's a big word, and so is the word possession. So to soften it up, we'll say entity attachments and extractions. But it is what it is. And so what is important to acknowledge is that when a person is choosing to imbibe in substances that are putting a gap in their clarity, again, it is allowing space for some of these darker beings or consciousness to come into their field, especially if a person is drinking at a bar, or especially if there is a lot of people around. Burning Man, festivals, shows, these types of things where there's a high concentration of people and a high concentration of people on psychedelics or drinking, it basically becomes what we would call like a trance medium playground. What that means is that the entities that are in the field can pretty much have a heyday. Have you ever started speaking in an accent that wasn't unique to you or that you had never done before? I've even had friends that started speaking French when they went to New Orleans because they opened their field in that way, and there's a spirit that was there. And I'm telling you, some of these spirits have died a long time ago. Some of them are actually ghosts that just choose not to transition and will kind of hop around. It gets weird. I'm not going to lie. It gets weird. But again, if you do not want to have these experiences running through your own body, your own mind, your own consciousness, not compromising your sovereignty, what's really, really important is for you to stand in your light, to stand in your power in a way that is going to not let these things in. So on October 20th, I'm hosting a 3-day Entity Clearing Masterclass. This is the second one that I have done. I've just finished a 10-day gut parasite, heavy metal detox cleanse in preparation for this. I take this class very seriously. It's more preparation for this one than any of the other ones that I do because of what is required in stabilizing and holding that field. So if this is interesting to you and you feel that you would want to go deeper, and in the masterclass, we actually go into the energetic healing and the deep dive transmissions that are going to bring a new new set of awareness, sovereignty, protection skills, across the whole gamut across the board that's going to set you up for success. The reason I'm hosting this on October 20th, and if you're watching this video afterwards, no worries, we're going to let the link be live so you can join in whenever you'd like. The recordings will always be available. But the reason that I'm doing it right before Halloween is because we know the veil is very thin at that time. There's a lot of dark energy that comes out to play, and it's very important to hold and maintain your sovereignty. Because like I said, sometimes if you are not aware that this is a thing, if an entity or an external consciousness gets in your field and you don't know how to clear it and you don't know who to go to, or you don't have a support network in your life that can actually help you clear this, it can stay there for years and it can wreak havoc on your life. And so I want to do everything that I can to get this information out there and into as many capable hands and hearts as possible so that we can continue to be very clear in our intention in how we are walking into the new earth consciousness together. It is so important, so important. And so I hope you liked this video. If you'd like to, you can head over to Instagram and follow me there at satara.speaks. I do lives, more kind of current information that's there. So I do hope to see you live in our Entity Clearing Masterclass. And please, of course, thank you for playing the algorithm game with me. Like, share, subscribe with anybody that you feel, or maybe if it's just one or two people in your awareness that you think would benefit from this information. So, from my heart to yours, thank you for spending your time here with me today. As we go forth, may we integrate the healing and the lessons received with courage, self-love, and compassion. Our session here is very much in love and very much complete. All right, have a beautiful and blessed day.